I'm working on a project right now in the shop, and I need to make a pattern quickly so that I can make a repetitive cut with my router and a bushing. I'm Ron Paulk, and this is the Smart Wood Shop. If you want to get a detailed set of plans to build a smart wood shop for yourself or one of my workbenches, there's a link in the description of this video down below where you can go right to our store, purchase a set of plans, and then download them instantaneously 24/7, 365. I need to make a cutout that is 1.5 inches by 4 inches. I need to make a bunch of them. Some of them are going to be cut all the way through, and some of them are going to be dados, slotted dados. This is my cordless plunge router that I use a 1/4 inch upcut spiral bit and a bushing that matches up to it. It's 3/8 outside diameter, and the outside diameter of the bit, of course, is 1/4 inch. So there is a 1/8 of an inch difference between the two. I do 90% of my routing with this corded plunge base router. It'll take a 1/2 inch bit, so I use a 1/2 inch upcut spiral bit with the appropriate bushing, which is 5/8. Again, the differential is 1/8 of an inch. So the pattern that I'm going to make to use, I can use either one of these setups, and I'm going to get the same cut with one minor exception. On the inside corners, because the 1/2 inch is a larger radius, those inside corners are going to be a little bit more of a radius. It's going to leave more wood there. If I go to the 1/4 inch, then it's going to make those corners a little tighter. There's no way to make a square corner with the router because it's a circular corner. Of course, I can cut those out if I need to. In this case, I won't need to. What I can do is if I have a lot of routing to do, I can clamp the template on, use my big router to make the entire cutout, and then I can follow it up with this one just to do those corners to tighten up that radius. I've drawn up the cutout that I need. So I've cut this board to 16 inches long only because it gives me clamping room, and I've made it wide enough so that the router will ride on this when I'm cutting it out. But this is the actual cutout that I need. Actually, this is larger than the cutout I need. I have drawn this out to account for that 1/8 of an inch between the bushing and the router bit. Off this center line, I want the final cutout to be 1.5 inches by 4. But to make this work, I need an extra 1/8 of an inch in the width here and an extra 1/8 of an inch in the height. So from the center mark, I went over and I pushed that line out 1/16, push this line out 1/16, again 1/16 and 1/16. So overall, I'm 4 1/8 by 1 5/8. By making this pattern 1/8 of an inch wider and 1/8 of an inch taller with the bushing, it doesn't matter which router I use, which size bit I use, I'm going to get the final cut that I'm looking for. So I want to make this cutout. This is my pattern. I'm going to write save on it. I use this a lot. This is actually a good size for drawer handle cutouts like in the Smart Wood Shop. So how do I do that? I can drill 4 holes in the corner, take a jigsaw and cut it out, sand it and work on it. But there's an easier way. I'm going to make another pattern. This one I'm going to just cut out with the miter saw. I'm going to overcut, and then I'm going to use this first pattern and I'm going to put it on top of this one and make that cut. But how does that work? Well, remember my final desired cut, the hole at the very end that I want cut, or the dado I want cut, is going to be 1.5 inches wide, 4 inches long. So my template accounts for that, or my pattern accounts for that. It's that 1/8 of an inch we talked about in both directions. So since I'm going to take this pattern to make this pattern, I made this another 1/8 of an inch wide and another 1/8 of an inch tall. So from my finished cut, this is 4 1/4 instead of 4 1/8, and it's 1 3/4 inches instead of 1 5/8 inches. This allows me to get a really clean pattern that I can save because, again, drilling and cutting with the jigsaw and trying to sand, You can do a good job. I've done it that way plenty of times, but this is a lot faster and a lot cleaner. Now I'm going to take this temporary pattern that I made completely on the miter saw and took about a minute, and I'm going to use my router to make my final pattern. I have made cross marks to center everything, and I have cross marks on this to center everything, so I don't even really need these lines here, but that was just a visual representation to know right where I wanted to be. To get the proper depth, the stop is floating loose right now. I plunge the bit in until it hits the surface it's going to cut. So at this point, it won't cut anything. If I tried to cut in there, it wouldn't cut any wood at all. And I know that the piece I'm going to cut through is 1/2 inch, so I can move this up a 0. I'll set the scale to 0, and then I will move it up 1/2 inch, but I know I want to cut a little further than that, so I'll go to about 9/16, lock it in, and now it'll plunge the rest of the way through and make this cutout. Now I have my permanent pattern, which is 4 1/8 inches long by 1 5/8 inches wide. That'll give me my 1.5 by 4 inches. I'll be able to hold onto this and quickly make these over and over again exactly the same. With the one pattern, I'm able to consistently get an 1.5 by 4 inch hole, and it doesn't matter if I use a 1/4 inch bit or a 1/2 inch bit. The length and width of the hole is identical. The only difference between the two cutter sizes is the radius is in the corner. The larger the diameter of the bit, the larger the radius is going to be. As a woodworker, you're going to be hard pressed to get more professional results than you can get with a router and a bushing and a simple pattern. This pattern is just a rectangle, but it can be a circle, it can be an arch, it can be a star shape. Whatever you want to take time to make your pattern, once you get that right, you can get the same cut over and over. If you enjoy these videos, if you've learned anything, if you'd like to see me make more, the best thing you can do is give me a thumbs up. And if you want to know when I put up a new video, be sure to subscribe and ring that little bell. Thanks for dropping into the Smart Wood Shop. You stay safe and have a great day.